One of the things I'm most happy about the Academy doing in recent years is making the Best Picture category 10 films instead of 5. When you look back on years where the Academy very obviously got it wrong, like in 1990 when Driving Miss Daisy won, not only did that film beat the other films in its category, such as My Left Foot, Born on the 4th of July, Dead Poets Society, and Field of Dreams, but it also beat films which weren't even nominated, like Do the Right Thing, Sex, Lies and Videotape, When Harry Met Sally, Crimes and Misdemeanors, and many, many more. How were none of those films even nominated? That's why having a top 10 is much better. We can look back and it gives us a better idea of what the best films of any given year were, though it obviously still misses out lots of gems from each year. So in this video, I'm giving my personal ranking of every 2026 Oscar Best Picture nominee, from worst to best. At number 10 is Frankenstein. Guillermo del Toro has created some of the finest films of the 21st century and waited his entire life to make his version of Mary Shelley's Frankenstein. I gave this film a 3.5 stars out of 5 on Letterboxd. It was certainly enjoyable, with great performances from Jacob Elordi in particular, but it definitely left me wanting something more of an emotional heart to it. This might be because Mia Goth can be hard to connect to. Because of how unique she is as an actress, it can often feel like she's overplaying a role, and it makes it hard to engage and connect with the story. This isn't a bad film by any means, but I expected more from Del Toro's Frankenstein. At number 9 is The Secret Agent. When my friend texted me asking me what I thought of The Secret Agent, I said that the film was good, but also very strange. I spent the first hour wondering what the hell was even going on. What has Wagner Moura's character even done to have hitmen set on him? And slowly, very slowly, we do start to find out more about why they're after him, related to his work as a professor and university funding issues. I also replied to my friend, saying I didn't like it as much as last year's I'm Still Here, which was my number 4 film of 2025, but it was solid. Something I didn't enjoy was the ending. I think it was very anticlimactic and veered away from the most interesting parts of the film for me. I also watched the film in a cinema in Leeds, in England, and so there was a few laughs in my screening when this random Brazilian film during one scene starts to mention Leeds and the university we have here. At number 8 is F1. My initial review for F1 said, no matter how hard they try to make it look exciting, I'll never get over someone saying Formula 1 is just watching traffic. But the film itself was actually very, very solid. It hits every note in the Hollywood blockbuster checklist, and if you asked me at the start to write the ending on a post-it note, I would have got it 100% correct. But in some regards, who cares? It's big, it's bold, and it got people into the cinema. Hats off to Joseph Kosinski. At number 7 is Begonia. This is my most recent watch on this list, as I didn't get around to seeing it in 2025, but man is this film batshit crazy. I actually stayed away from watching Kinds of Kindness a few years ago, but I think this has made me want to go back and watch that, even with a 3-hour runtime, as Emma Stone and Jesse Plemons are just so good in this. Personally, I think Plemons should have got the Best Supporting Actor nomination over Jacob Elordi. He holds the film together and makes it totally believable, alongside the great performance from Aidan Delbis too. At number 6 is Sinners. Sinners was the undeniable cinematic moment of last year, and the film is very enjoyable, with some standout performances, particularly by Michael B. Jordan, Jack O'Connor and Delroy Lindo. However, whilst I do agree that the film was good, I can't help but think that a lot of people are over-exaggerating just how good it actually was. I think a lot of people are confusing their appreciation for it being an original and empowering film for how good it actually is. It's basically just From Dusk Till Dawn with blues music. Clearly that's an unpopular opinion, but that's why it doesn't even crack my top 5. At number 5 is Sentimental Value. Joachim Trier is the European man of the moment in many ways, and is getting a lot of love in the US at the moment. Whilst I didn't enjoy Sentimental Value as much as The Worst Person in the World, I still thought this was a beautiful, contemplative and funny film, and that DVD scene will go down as legendary. At number 4 is Hamnet. Chloe Zhao returns to form with this incredible adaptation of the book of the same name. This was one of the most emotional cinema experiences I've had in a long while, and honestly, that's what I go to the cinema for. I know a lot has been made of the final scene with Max Richter's score, but to be honest, that's one of my favourite pieces of music, and it just had me crying instantly. I wanted to just sit there as the credits roll, feeling every emotion. My girlfriend even said this might be her new favourite film of all time. At number 3 is Marty Supreme, the film that makes you want to go out after and change the world. I had an absolute ball with this film, and I really think Josh Safdie isn't going to get enough love this award season due to all the strong competition. It looks like Timmy might walk away with the Best Actor Oscar, but that might be it for the film on the night. At number 2 is Train Dreams. I also had this as second in my video of Best Films of 2025, and it's one that lingers on the mind for a long while after. Much like Hamnet, it left me with an overwhelming emotional feeling, thinking about how our lives pass us by and our relationship to nature. William H. Macy's performance in this is still one of my favourites too. It's just so funny. At number one is One Battle After Another. I think a lot of people are forgetting just how good this film was. It was so good that I went to see it twice in the cinema and I would have happily gone again. It has an incredible cast, PTA at the height of his powers, and everything just falls into place. It's a modern classic for sure. As for who will win Best Picture, I still think it will be One Battle After Another, and it has the most likelihood of winning on the night. But I can definitely see Hamnet or Sinners coming in with a late upset. I think if Sinners wins, people won't be too mad, but Hamnet might raise a few more eyebrows. Not because it's not a good film or anything, but just because it would seem to really come out of nowhere compared to One Battle After Another or Sinners. So there's my ranking of the 10 Best Picture nominees of 2026. Let me know your ranking in the comments below.